What's going on, weirdos? It's your man Shane Kid Walker here with Hollyweird TV, bringing you all yet another video. 20 films down, 80 more to go in this countdown of what fans consider to be the all-time greats. From a web-slinging superhero to a football team completing the perfect season, you fans made your voices heard, and it is my duty and privilege to reveal this countdown. I'm going to get personal for a second and just thank everyone who has supported me, my friends, my family, the good folks at Fantastic Productions, on any and every endeavor that I set my mind to. Thank you all for allowing me to be myself. Thank you. Alright, enough of the mushy shit. We got a countdown to finish, people. Today, we're going to be taking a look at numbers 80 to 71. Now this is where everything gets interesting and more of you all may become angry and decide to unsub. I'm just keeping it real. As always here at Hollyweird TV, we definitely place timestamps, or in this case, chapters in the description below so that you, the viewer, could skip ahead and control the video as you see fit. Without further ado, let's continue this countdown.
Okay. Rolling.
You like what you're hearing? Well, I need you to do me a favor and press the link in the description below that way you can watch this whole video.
When I was 13, I started stacking 7-4. Gang banging on the block till them niggas choke. Keeping prayers, but I'm hoping.
Number 80, North by Northwest. Alfred Hitchcock makes his much deserved first appearance on this countdown. Just a spoiler, he's going to appear again. I'm a Hitchcock stan, so don't try it, folks. Anyway, North by Northwest is considered to be the Hitchcock film to end all Hitchcock films. This 1959 spy thriller is one of the original tales of mistaken identity. The genesis of this film is a doozy, people. Legendary screenwriter Ernest Lehman insisted on making this Hitchcock film one of his most iconic. He wasn't wrong. Hitchcock's disturbing style, dark, ominous, and downright sinister tone is so fitting that North by Northwest went from a mere spy film to a spy film with Hitchcock aesthetics. I told you guys, I'm going to ask this question a lot this season. So here goes. Why the fuck is this film so low on the countdown? Anything Hitchcock should be at least in the top 20. Come on, y'all. Jesus. Anyway, this film stars the legendary Cary Grant, Eva St. Marie, and James Mason. One of the most critically acclaimed films ever. It holds a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. North by Northwest was nominated for 3 Academy Awards. It ranked at number 40, and again, it should be higher, on the AF5 100 Years, 100 Movies list. Number 79, The Godfather Part 3. Although this wasn't the best installment in the series, more on the other two like way later, it still should be higher on the countdown. Anyway, what a way to wrap up a saga of magnificent storytelling and the love of family. The Godfather Part 3 serves as the epilogue of Michael Corleone's time as the crime boss of his family. Filled with guilt over his rise to prominence, he still feels the pain of having ordered his own brother's execution. He meets his illegitimate nephew and son of his late brother Sonny, Vincent. Vincent bites off the heir of rival Joey Saza, after the latter refers to him as a bastard. After realizing that one of his allies is turncoat, Michael suffers a diabetic stroke. Soon after recovering, Michael officially names Vincent a member of the Corleone family. After a hitman tries to assassinate Michael, he accidentally shoots Michael's daughter, and the hitman is killed soon after that. 20 years later, Michael dies of what seems to be a heart attack, or from a broken heart. The film stars Al Pacino, Diane Keaton, Talia Shire, Andy Garcia, and Sophie Coppola. The Godfather Part 3 holds an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes as of 2020. It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including the award for Best Picture. Number 78, Get On Up. James Brown. James Brown. James Brown. Hands down the most dynamic performer in the history of popular music. So much so, he has inspired the likes of Chris Brown, Justin Timberlake, Snoop Dogg, Bobby Brown, and of course, the late great Michael Jackson. The film is told from a non-linear narrative perspective as Brown recounts some of the key moments from his life and career, from his tragic childhood to his rapid rise to fame. This story captures James in his moments of brilliance, but also in his moments of vulnerability. Some of his most notable moments are in this film: his perfect performance at the Tammy Show, his many marriages, and the night he saved Boston after the assassination of Dr. King. This retelling of the man known as the Godfather of Soul does omit details, but that does little to take away from the overall story. The film stars the late great Chadwick Boseman, Viola Davis, Dan Aykroyd, as well as the late Nelson Ellis. As of 2020, Get On Up holds an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 77, School Days, Spike Lee's most underrated film. School Days is among the first films to take a look at life in an HBCU. What makes this film unique is that it shows how race relations work within a race. Today, we refer to that as shadeism or colorism. I have to say that as an HBCU graduate, this film is accurate and precise in terms of how people treat each other at HBCUs. Yes, I said that. On the other hand, I can't speak for the Greek letter organization hazing aspect because I didn't pledge anything. Anyway, it's homecoming week at the fictional HBCU, Mission College, and tensions rise at a Greek step show. Almost coming to blows with the fraternity, Dap, whose little brother is online for that same fraternity, is confronted with expulsion if he continues to parade his politics. Soon, an actual brawl breaks out between Dap and his faction and Gamma Phi Gamma. This film stars Lawrence Fishburne, Spike Lee, Giancarlo Esposito, Tisha Campbell, and Ozzie Davis. Interestingly enough, this concept would appear in many different shows and movies. In the NBC sitcom A Different World, pledging was touched upon in the season 4 episode Sister to Sister Sister. In the Netflix original series Dear White People, the issue of colorism, shadeism, and racism is the premise of the entire show. As of 2020, School Days holds a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. Although that results in a mixed response, the film has since gained a cult-like following. Number 76, Rocky III. From going toe-to-toe with the world champion, to becoming world champion, to the fight of his life, this installment of the Rocky series explores the zenith of world heavyweight champion Rocky Balboa. Things take a turn when the hungry contender begins to insult Balboa, causing the champion to put his belt on the line against him. After learning that his fights were staged, Rocky kinda loses his motivation as he believes Clubber Lang to be another planted opponent. Mickey, who was Rocky's trainer, urges Rocky to train extensively. However, Rocky doesn't take the fight seriously at all. As the first fight is set to begin, a fight breaks out backstage and Mickey is pushed, causing him to experience a heart attack. Rocky wants to call off the fight, but Mickey convinces him that he has to fight and he has to win. Rocky, due to his lack of training and conditioning, loses the fight and the title. Mickey dies soon afterwards. Losing his will to fight after Mickey's death, Rocky retreats but is soon tracked down by Apollo Creed. Creed offers to train him in exchange for a favor. Rocky agrees, and after months of learning Apollo's style, beats Lang to regain the title. As the movie ends, Apollo and Rocky enter a gym and have a fight, with no audience, no press, and no championships. Just competition. The film stars Sylvester Stallone, Talia Shire, the late Burgess Meredith, Carl Weathers, and Mr. T. As of 2020, the film holds a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. Although it was nominated for a couple of Academy Awards, it was also nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award. Mr. T got that nomination for Worst Supporting Actor, which I find that to be kind of silly. I thought he did really good in Rocky III. Anyway, number 75, The Fast and the Furious. Family. That's it. That's the tweet. This is the first film in what is now a very extensive and acclaimed franchise. We meet Brian O'Connor, an LAPD officer sent to infiltrate a street racing circuit and arrest those who are in charge. At the same time, he catches the eye of a beautiful young lady named Mia. After hitting it off with Dom, the two appear at a street race. Brian, who lacks funds, puts his car up for the bet. Brian's suspicion of Dom, however, begins to escalate, and soon realizes that he's the mastermind behind the hijacking. Although Brian has every right to take Dom and his crew in, he decides not to do so. This film stars Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, and of course, the late great Paul Walker. As of 2020, the film holds a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. Although it wasn't nominated for an Academy or a Golden Globe for that matter, It still earned accolades including 2 MTV Movie Awards. Number 74, Crooklyn. Ah yes, the coming-of-age film of all coming-of-age films, Spike Lee's legendary Crooklyn. The story follows 10-year-old Troy Carmichael. Coming from a dysfunctional home, Troy serves as her family's moral backbone. Again, she's only 10. Her father Woody is a struggling musician still in search of a big break. Her mother Carolyn, a strong-minded school teacher who has a BS tolerance of 0. Troy's 4 brothers Clinton, Wendell, Nate, and Joseph are her perfect foils. She's the leader. They're her lackeys. It's perfect. After being sent away to live with family members, the kids return to their parents, only to find Carolyn is dying of cancer. After her death, Troy takes over as the family's matriarch. In an attempt to protect her brother from a neighborhood bully, played by Spike Lee, she assaults Snuffy with a bat. The film stars Alfred Woodard, Delroy Lindo, Zelda Harris, and of course Spike Lee, like I just said. The film holds a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 73, Selena. This biopic shares with fans the life and times of the late great Selena Quintanilla Perez. It begins with her father Abraham being rejected after performing a song in English at a local tavern. Years later, Abraham is singing that same song with his daughter Selena. The film then cuts to the 80s where the Quintanillas go bankrupt as a result of Reaganomics. I'm going to do a retrospective video on that shit in the future. Just wait, because I got a lot to say about Reaganomics. As a result, they're forced to shut down their family restaurant, and as a means of supporting their family, they all headed on the road and they start performing. After adding more personality to their performances, Selena y Los Dinos see a surge in popularity. In 1990, Selena met her future husband Chris. Around the same time, she met Yolanda Saldivar, a big fan of hers. In 1995, Selena was shot and killed by Saldivar after it was discovered that Saldivar was stealing from Selena's company. Ironically, today, Sunday, March 21st, 2021, is the 24th anniversary of this film's release. Selena stars Edward James Olmos, Constance Marie, Jonathan Seda, and of course Jennifer Lopez as the lead singer. As of 2020, Selena holds a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. J-Lo was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actress, and the soundtrack will go on to be nominated for a Grammy at the 1998 Awards. Number 72, Straight Outta Compton. Here's another musical biopic. Straight Outta Compton follows the formation of the world's most dangerous group, NWA. After writing music for a New York group turns out terrible, O'Shea and Andre turn to their friend Eric to record the song. From there, the rest, as we say, is history. The song will go on to be known as Boys in the Hood, epic foreshadowing. From there, the guys now going by Dr. Dre, MC Ren, DJ Yella, Ice Cube, and of course Eazy-E are not referring to themselves as a group, but as an all-star team or a gang. I like the gang part, honestly. I'm just saying. However, as soon as success begins, the trouble starts. Jerry Heller, who was the group's manager, begins to practice shady financial practices, resulting in Cube leaving the group. Resentful, NWA calls out Cube in a diss track, which Cube fires back with one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, No Vaseline. After the group officially splits, Eazy discovers that Heller begins to steal from him as well, and he fires him. Wanting the group to reunite, Eazy sets out to find everyone, but he was too little, too late. After falling ill, Eazy ends up in a hospital. It is there where he was diagnosed with AIDS, and he would soon die from the disease. The film stars O'Shea Jackson Jr., Corey Hawkins, Jason Mitchell, Aldous Hodge, Neil Brown Jr., and Paul Giamatti. As of 2020, Straight Outta Compton holds a healthy 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, it was controversially snubbed at the 2016 Academy Awards. I'm going to cover the 2016 Academy Awards in the near future, so hold tight. Before we continue, we would like to pause and recognize some well-deserving honorable mentions. Number 71, Boys in the Hood. I told y'all earlier, epic foreshadowing. One of the most important films ever made and a landmark in cinema history. Boys in the Hood takes a look at what goes on in inner city America. The story begins in 1984 in South Central LA. A group of boys are just hanging out, one of which has moved in with his father after getting into a confrontation with another boy at school. One day, the boys decide to explore the city and go to see a dead body. While heading that way, they run across some Crips who take Ricky's ball. Doughboy fights to get his brother's ball back, but is unsuccessful. One of the gang members, feeling pity, but also showing respect for them standing up for themselves, give the ball back. Doughboy and Chris later rob a store, which results in them going to jail for 7 years. Doughboy gets out in 1991 and is now a Crip. At a street race, they have a confrontation with some Bloods. This later leads to Ricky being killed in retaliation. As a result, Doughboy and his crew track down his brother's killers and kill them. The movie ends with a title epilogue. Ricky was buried and Doughboy was killed 2 weeks later. Boys in the Hood stars Cuba Gooding Jr., Morris Chestnut, Nia Long, Lawrence Fishburne, and Ice Cube. As a result of this outing, John Singleton became the first African-American director to be nominated for Best Director at the 1992 Academy Awards. As of 2020, Boys in the Hood holds a 96% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Boys in the Hood is definitely one of the greatest films ever made. Yes, Shane Kid Walker just said that. Do you all agree? Well, y'all should, because you did vote on these films on Instagram. Just saying. Anyway, if so or if not, please tell us about it in the comment section below. Yeah, we read those things and we may use a screenshot of your opinion in the next video. But you gotta comment. Next week, we're going to take a look at number 70 to 61 in this elite countdown of what fans consider to be the greatest films of all time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the dang on bell to get all of our notifications. Until next Sunday, remember, Hollywood is a weird place. I'm your man, Shane Kid Walker, and this is Hollyweird TV.